and welcome back to another video. Today we're doing my nails again. What you see here is lots of chipping, and this is due to the JELLO JELLO peel off base coat. I used it for the first time on this set. These are my birthday nails, and they started chipping like a few days in. Now I kind of think it's because my nails were like a little bit weak, that maybe it would work with a base, like a builder base, but this was filmed a little while ago, so I do have quite a few thoughts on the JELLO JELLO. I actually do feel like it's best suited with regular gel polish as opposed to anything a little more stiff, just in the way it peels off, because when I peel, I'm using the 1 kill remover to peel off the nails. When I peel them off using just gel polish, there's like a residue that's left behind, and you will see that in this video, that I think is there to kind of protect the nails. But whenever you use something like a builder gel or an extension and you peel off the nails, it can, I ended up with quite a bit of damage, even though I did leave the 1 kill remover on quite a while and I wasn't forcing anything, but I think it's just because of the stiffness of the product on top that it really does make a difference. So I think having a bit of flexibility like you do with just a regular gel polish is a lot better than something a little bit stiffer on top. That's my personal experience with it. So you can see here, see that bit of shininess to my nail? You'll be able to see it again with this one. That's the residue that I'm talking about. So let's just pop this one off. See, I'm looking at it there. You can see, and so that really, I think, did play a huge part in protecting my nails, that little bit of residue, because when I've peeled off now builder gel nails with the 1 kill remover, that residue is gone, and it's just like kind of pulls layers off of my nails, which is not ideal. A little bit stressful. Anyways, I'll get into that in future videos as well, because you'll be able to see it yourself. So I'm just, after removing that, I'm starting, yeah, like see, I'm scraping up the residue. So interesting. I'm starting off with prep, pushing back my cuticles, and then going in with some nippers and nipping off the dead skin there. And then just going around the sides and making sure that I don't have any little hangnails or anything like that. Trimming those off when I find them. Today's set is very cute. I'm obsessed with it. Like to the point where I want to do it again. That's how much I love it. I think it's really, really, really cute and super simple. It's super easy. So if you're new to nail art, this is something you can do. I'm going to be using an airbrush in this, but this can also just be fully hand painted. Like I did hand paint portions of it, but like for the stars I used an airbrush, but you can absolutely hand paint stars. So this is something that I think is definitely beginner friendly. So I'm going in with my Miami wood file and just doing like a soft square, like nothing intense, a little bit of a rounder corner, just because my nails are not at their strongest at this point, so I don't want any like sharp edges that I'm going to catch because they're not really strong enough to support themselves. And then going in with the Erica's ATA Skiver bit. Is anyone ever going to tell me how to pronounce that? My favorite, I actually just did a huge bit replacement. I didn't even bother buying any more of these ones because my favorite bits are actually the nib bits for cuticle work. It gets right up under there and like creates like a little bit of a pocket so you can trim off any cuticle, but then also gets rid of any dead tissue on the nail plate in that little area. And then I go in with my my sanding band and get rid of any other dead tissue at this point while prepping the nail. But I'm just going in very lightly here. It's a very light touch, and I'm on 1 on my e-file, just like very slightly buffing up the nail for a better adhesion with your base products. And this one is like a fine sanding band. I often use the zebra sanding bands from Erica's ATA, but this one is a fine band that I got from Toronto. And then I brush off the dust first with a kind of stiffer brush, and then I go over with an alcohol acetone mix. And I am going back in with JELLO JELLO again today, because at this point I have fewer concerns. So my concerns at this point were that the nails were lifting. So in order to combat that, I will eventually do a bit of a builder layer just to add a bit more strength, which did for the most part result in my nails not chipping. I had a few small chips, but it wasn't anything major. So on that front, it made a positive change, but I think the overall outcome was a little bit less than positive just because my nails were not in the cutest of shape afterwards. But going in with a thin layer of that on all the nails. And I like to flash cure in between just to make sure everything's staying put. So I usually do like a 10-second flash cure in the light every few nails. Like I'll do the thumb, then I'll usually do the index and the middle together. Flash cure those, and then the ring and the pinky. Just because, you know, it take a while sometimes to do my own nails. Don't want any of the gel seeping into the sidewalls or anything. And then this is actually a difference from last time. Last time I did Jello Jello and then I applied color right on top. But this time I'm doing Jello Jello and then applying the gel bottle's rubber base on top of that. And I was hoping that having another layer between the Jello Jello and the color on top would help with everything. Everything lasting a bit better. Even just like shiny, clear nails, they look so nice. Whenever I go get a pedicure done, like once they like remove the gel and clean everything up and stuff, I'm always like, wow, you could just like leave it like that. It looks so good. Makes a huge difference having well-maintained nails. So then I'm going in with khaki from the gel bottle after I've coated all of my nails in the rubber base and cured those. I'm going to do 2 thin layers of this. I will say, in comparison to, like I work with a lot of Korean gels, but I do have quite a sizable collection of the gel bottle products from when I kind of first was starting out. In comparison to the Korean products, like they're just so different. The gel bottle, for the most part, their products are a lot thinner. The gel, which is good for certain things, and the layer, or the, yeah, it's a lot less opaque. So you do have to do 2, sometimes 3 coats to get the desired opacity. Whereas what I find most Korean brands, you could do 1 coat, maybe 2 if you need, and you have very, very opaque layers that do fully cure as long as you're using good light. And they're a lot thicker as well. So they self-level really well. And this is all generally speaking from my experiences that I've used so far. But it's very interesting to note the difference because I do offer basically all the gel polish I have to my clients to pick from. So sometimes within one manicure we're using both the gel bottle and some of the Korean brands I have. And I just, comparing them side by side is just so interesting because they're so extremely different in both appearance and in use. And then I'm going to go in with Brunette from the gel bottle as well. And so I've just put a bit of that on my Izemi palette there. And this is, doing camo nails is super, super simple. Sometimes I'll look at like a reference image just to have an idea, but basically I'll use a dotting tool because you want everything to be rather organic. And if you notice in a lot of camo, the colors are kind of interlocking. So if you see, I do like some of those like C shapes. And that's because I'll end up, when I put the black down as well, I'll kind of like interlock the colors. Yeah, but the nice thing with camo is you really don't have to be too precise about anything. If there's like a desired look you want, then you can do that. Like this was my choice of kind of camo style to do, but even like a little bit more like cow spotty looks really cool. Yeah, totally up to you. And it's super, super, super simple. So I'm just gonna go and do that on all of the nails. I'm gonna lay down all the brown first and then go in with all the black additions after. And then same thing, I've just wiped off my dotting tool and I'm going in with the black. And so I'm kind of interlocking it with the other colors, but then also doing random little splotches. And it's totally cool to like overlap colors and stuff as well, like getting the black to go over the brown a bit. It all just like adds well to the effect. And then the thumb, I generally always flash cure on its own before going on with the rest of the fingers because I don't want any of the gel to move. You can see how my thumb's really tilted to the side or sometimes upside down, just to make sure it's not going to move around. I always like to give it a little cure. When I posted this set on Instagram, everyone was saying that it reminded them of Cadet Kelly, which totally, I remember watching that movie at some point. I literally only know that it's like Hilary Duff as of now. I don't remember anything about it really. But it's like so Y2K, which I like. I'm so into Y2K vibes right now. I just actually got this amazing like cheetah print Guess bag from the thrift store the other day. I'm really excited about it. I'm really feeding into that vibe. Okay, now I'm taking a little bit of alcohol and wiping down my nails, and then I'm going in with my resin gel from Izemi, and I'm going to do a thin builder layer here. Nothing wild, because I'm not going to like really refine anything after, so I don't want to be too thick, but first I'm applying a slip layer, which is crucial when you're doing a builder layer. Then I'm going to go back into the bottle and grab a little bead. You always want to make sure the nails are pointing downwards to really allow gravity to assist you in this process. And I'm going to walk a bead down the nail and then flip my hand upside down just so I can let gravity help out a little bit more and kind of give it a nice even surface. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to the rest of the nail. So again, I'm doing the, what's that layer? What did I just say that layer was called? Oh my god. My mind is just, but I'm going to walk a bead down. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny amount. Like this is really nothing major. I just mostly want to even out the surface because, and add a bit of strength, but even out the surface because I'm going to airbrush on top, so I want the base to be nice and smooth. Slip layer, that's what it's called. But I want the base to be nice and smooth, and I also want to be able to buff over top because airbrush likes a matte surface. So I'm going to buff over top of this after, but you can see, like if you look at the nails, like you can tell that they're so much more even than they were when they had just the design. So I'm just using a 180 grit buffer from the gel bottle, and I'm just going around and lightly buffing the nails. I'm not like trying to shape anything or whatever, I'm just evening everything out slightly and just roughing up the surface a little, purely, I mean, partially to refine it slightly, but mostly just to prep for the airbrush. And then once I've got them all done, I'm going to dust them all off and then wipe them down with alcohol once again. And then I'm going in with my Really Hot Girl Nail airbrush stencils and my One Air airbrush paint. The airbrush paint is from Glam Nails. I'll have everything linked down below. And I'm using the, I think it's called Fuchsia, this color. I'm using the Fuchsia just to airbrush a star on each nail, which is a super, like I said, you can paint it, but I wanted something like crispy. So I'm using the airbrush stencil, and it's super fast and easy, which is great. Love that. And so the One Air airbrush paint is like an acrylic airbrush paint. So unlike other brands like, what's that? I know there are other brands that are gel, which you have to cure. One Air dries on its own, so it just air dries. And then I'm going in with the Izemi base gel. This is the Neo base. It's a thinner viscosity. It's actually one of my favorite base gels for capping and airbrush. So just to make sure, I mean, this set isn't as big of a deal because the airbrush isn't like on the edge or anything like that, but just to make sure that there's no chipping, because this isn't a gel paint that I used, I'm going to cap in the airbrush with a clear gel and then top coat after that. So I do put my nail in when I'm doing this part. I cure every nail one at a time, or flash cure every nail one at a time, because I do find that sometimes the gel on top of the airbrush paint wants to shift around a little bit. So just to ensure that it's not going anywhere, I just pop it into the light for 10 seconds just to stop it in its tracks. And then I'm going in with the Izemi resin 99.9 top and low. And this is just a thin viscosity top coat, and it's super, super great. It's really long lasting, like the shine of it, and it's quite durable, which is nice as well. And I just use Izemi products, so, or an Izemi base coat, so I do like to go in with a top coat that pairs well. They're made together, so only right that they be applied together. And I'm just going around and capping each nail and then capping the tip of the nail. And like I said, this is a super, super simple design that you can do on your own, which is great. Very beginner friendly. So after a final 30-second cure, here we have it. Let me know what you guys think down below. I absolutely love the set, like, so much. And let me know what other videos you want to see from me, and I'll catch you in the next one.